Hey, welcome. This is Tina Lorenz, and today we're going to talk about the 5 biggest mistakes new copywriters make. You know what? There's actually more than 5. I had to narrow it down to only 5, but I've got some good ones for you today. Now, one of the things I want to say, though, about this when we talk about the 5 biggest mistakes new copywriters make is this isn't just for those writing copy for clients. This could be for you if you're a coach, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're just trying to figure out how am I going to write really great copy and make it more effective and make it so whether you're working with clients or whether you're writing for yourself, there's some tips here that I think will be helpful to you. But especially if you're working as a copywriter already or you're trying to get started as one, this will be very helpful to you. So let's take a look, because the first one is not valuing yourself enough or your abilities enough. This is so common. This is so common, especially with people that are new to copywriting, that you think, well, I don't know enough yet. And maybe no one will pay me. Or there's not enough money out there. But I was just reading something yesterday from someone I know that did an event in Phoenix, Arizona, where they had a lot of very high level entrepreneurs there. And they said the thing that they kept hearing was people saying, we need copywriters, but they don't know how to have the conversation and they don't know even what they have to offer. And we're finding it very difficult to work with someone because they're so kind of demeaning of themselves as far as offering the value. So one of the things, even if you're just getting started, what I want you to keep in mind about this whole thing with value is the value you bring to those you're writing for. Because you could be writing a sales page or a set of emails, an email sequence that entrepreneur or business person is going to use for even up to years. I have copy that's been online for over a decade. And what does that mean? It means it's working. It means it's making money for that client. It means it's making money for that entrepreneur. And so what you're charging on the front end for your fee is getting multiplied oftentimes many, many, many times over into the hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars for your client. And so if you're not charging enough on the front end, if you're not valuing and really keeping in mind what's that return on investment for the client I'm working with, you are shortchanging yourself. So let's say you charge $5,000 for a project, and let's say your client has something that a coaching program that they sell for $5,000. They only need to sell one more program to have covered the cost of investing in you. But then they go on to use that copy you wrote weeks, months, years, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. You get it? They could be making 100,000, couple 100,000, millions of dollars even from their $5,000 program that they paid you $5,000 to write the copy for. So this is something to keep in mind about the value you bring isn't just your own personal self, which is of great value, of course, but also what you're providing to that person that you're working with, the person that you're writing for. Let's see how we're doing. I'm going to just check comments real quick. Cool. And so this is something that's so common. And I see comments saying that they struggle with that themselves. And so think about the training that you might have received or the experience you're already getting. The life experience that you bring to the table is valuable because each one of you, any of you that are writing copy, whether for yourselves or for your clients, you have your own unique story. You have your own unique experience, and you blend that into what you're doing as a copywriter or with your copywriting. And that is also adding more value because you may have just the right voice for your clients. Maybe you're a faith-based copywriter. Maybe you are deal with specific health issue. Maybe you deal with specific communities that you belong to or you understand deeply, or cultures. These are all things that you infuse into what you do when you're writing your copy and as offering your copywriting services that will be perfect for your right fit clients. Will it be for everybody? No, you don't need to be for everybody. You need to be for the person that's the right fit for you, for you to join together in the common cause and the mission of creating compelling copy, profitable copy for the people you work with. So mistake number 1, not valuing yourself or your abilities enough and giving yourself some muscle with how you present and how you think about what you do and why you're doing it. Okay, let's move on to common mistake number 2, one of the biggest ones: running your business like a part-time hobby. Ho hum, maybe I'll have time to work on my business today, right? And so one of the things I often say is the worst client you'll ever have in the whole world, I can say this unequivocally, absolutely positively, is yourself. And that's, why do I say that? What do you mean, Tina, that I'm the client? But that's how you need to treat yourself. treat yourself in your business, even if you have not worked with anyone yet directly that's paid you to write copy for them, or you're starting a business of any kind, you're starting your own coaching program, or you're writing a book, whatever it may be, treat yourself like a client first. And that means this isn't a hobby, folks. Now, if you want to do something like this, the common term, the side hustle, I don't really like that term, but it's like, I'm going to go do this kind of on the side. Now, that's not to say you can't start this kind of a business part-time, but you should be thinking about it as something that's going to grow and develop, and you're going to grow with, and that you're going to treat it seriously right from the beginning. So what does that mean? It means keeping your marketing antenna up all the time, observing marketing in the wild, as I call it, in the world around you, just taking it in and thinking about marketing, thinking about what you might say if you were writing for that particular product or that niche market, taking the time every day to actually write. Hey, there's a thought. What if you were writing every single day? Even if you don't have a client yet, you need to hone your craft. You need to build those neural pathways that start to make it like easier for your brain to process. This is how I write copy. You need to have little samples that you might want to show someone, not entire big sales letters, but you could be building a portfolio of your style of writing or niche markets that you're interested in writing in, where you just write pieces of copy and have it assembled in a way that you could share that on your website. Or if you wanted to show someone an example of your writing, and write for real, and I mean like on any of the social media platforms, participate. Post something, write articles, practice your craft. You don't get good at copywriting by sitting around thinking about copywriting, okay? Like, wonder if that works, how Tina talked about writing a headline. I'll have to try that someday. Do it, and do it every day. Schedule your time. Even if you only have a small amount of time to work with it every day, schedule it. Write it on your calendar or on your online calendar. I know. I use a paper calendar. Okay, so don't judge. I use an online one too, but I like my paper calendars. But anyway, schedule what you're going to do. Make yourself a little to-do list. Study something every day, read something every day, but most of all, write something every day. If you want to get paid to write, you need to get good enough to get paid to write. And you can do that really pretty quickly. It doesn't have to take a real long time. So run your business like a business, even if you don't have a full-time schedule to devote to it. Take it seriously, set yourself up with some kind of a workspace. I've never been the person to crouch on a couch with a laptop, or I like to have my desktop set up. I take it with me when I travel. I have a mobile office, but have dedicated workspace of some kind the best you can. If it's the corner of your bedroom, whatever it has to be to get started, but make it feel like you're going to your work, your career, the calling that you have when you sit down and you're going to write, because this helps you emotionally and psychologically be prepared to actually do the work. Okay. So don't run it like a part-time business. Now, the good news about this is you run it like a full-time business, but that doesn't mean you have to work in it full-time. And that's one of the amazing things about the style of writing I'm discussing, a style of freelance writing called copywriting, where you're writing marketing communication, that you can be paid very, very well. And again, I don't make any promises of revenue or anything like that. But historically, I've been at this since 2004. Okay, so I've got a pretty big track record and knowing a lot of people in the business of online marketing, of what you could expect to be paid for various aspects of writing copy. And as you get good at it and you have the right kind of training for it, you can get faster at it. And so you can work, it is quite entirely possible to work what we would consider more of a part-time schedule, whether it's days of the week or how many hours of the week that are less than your traditional like grind at an office, that type of thing. And possibly the potential is there for you to make more revenue doing that than you would working in a traditional full-time job. Okay. Now, again, I'm talking about freelance copywriting. I'm not talking about working in an agency or applying for jobs, because when you're a freelancer, it doesn't matter if you have a degree, doesn't matter if you have previous experience, doesn't matter where you live, how old you are, any of those things, because you get to set the path for your business. And that's the amazing aspect of being a freelancer with this as well. So run it seriously, that you're going to build enough revenue that you can have that lifestyle that you've always wanted, and that lifestyle freedom that you may desire, and be able to do it by treating yourself as your first client and running it like an actual business, not like a part-time hobby. Okay. So I see we're getting lots of comments on that. So that's awesome. Okay. Here's mistake number 3. Being a short order copywriter. Why do I have hamburger and fries on this? That's what I mean about short order. Have you ever heard of a short order cook? That would be the person like in a fast food restaurant or someplace, a diner where they're just cooking, the orders up really fast and they're called a short order cook. A lot of times they're not even called a chef. They're just like slam those hamburger patties down and make the burgers and fry the fries and away we go, right? So what do I mean by short order copywriting? Don't be the person that has a client that you're speaking with and the client says, okay, I need a sales letter, 3 emails, 1 opt-in, hold the fries, extra ketchup on the side, please. Don't be the person that is letting someone else tell you, I just need these pieces, write them. Now, you can do that, but your value goes way down when you do. What you can command as fees goes way down again, because you're not positioning from a place of power. You're not giving any kind of credence or value. Remember mistake number 1, to what you actually do for the people that you work with. So you need to value it enough in your own mind that you're not going to be the person that just takes the orders, because you might as well work in the fast food joint or behind the counter of a retail store or something like that if you're just going to jump when someone says jump and you say how high, right? So the way you bring more value and not be a short order copywriter is to learn some of the marketing strategies. And again, this doesn't have to take a really long time or advanced degrees or any degree whatsoever, because the beauty of this is that you can learn enough to be able to deliver certain aspects of copy. Maybe you're going to specialize in one particular thing, like maybe you're going to write LinkedIn about page profiles. Maybe you're going to write email sequences. You can start with one thing and grow from there. And it doesn't have to take that long to get started with the one thing. So even if you were specializing in one thing, understand the strategy of it so that when you're speaking to a client, you know enough to be able to say, this is why you would need an email sequence. This is why I know, you ask, do they have email subscribers? They say yes. You say, how often are they emailing? They say, what do you mean? How often are we emailing? We never email them. And you say, oh my gosh, you're leaving money on the table. This is why you need email sequences. And then when you have that conversation, which is very easy to learn what that strategy is, that part's easy, right? Then you can be the one that writes those email sequences. So you're making a recommendation. You're doing some strategy aspect. You're becoming a little bit more like you're consulting on what they need and making suggestions and recommendations. And by the way, there's a way to get paid for doing that part too, but that's a whole other topic for another day. But understand that if you're just following what someone thinks they need for their marketing, they may not really know. They may not understand why it's important to have that email sequence. They may not understand why it's important to have a really compelling about page in a LinkedIn profile. When you learn even those simple strategies and be the person that can talk about it with them, they're kind of like, wow, this person really knows what they're talking about. Okay, let's do it. What do we need to do next? And that's actually what happens in the conversations, practically word for word. That's what can happen when you're having those initial consultations. So don't be a short order copywriter. Be the one that's going to learn enough to understand the strategy and be able to discuss it intelligently and give your clients some valuable recommendations. You don't have to explain the whole how of it. You understand the what and the why, and that's the conversation. And the how is you. You're the one that then provides how that's going to happen by doing the writing. Now, I'll pause here just for a second to say, when I say like emails, maybe somebody's brain's already going, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do email sequences. I don't know the technology. Stop. You don't need to know any of that. When you're writing copy for your clients, you need to understand the strategy and how to write the copy and how to deliver it to them. That's it. Okay. That's up to your clients to have all the other technology in place to be, and these are things you will ask them. Do you have a way to do that? Right. So they're the ones that will put their email into the email sequence. They're the ones that will take the copy and put it onto the designed page and make it work as far as the technology aspect of it. That's not your job. So that's the good news. That's the really good news. Woo-hoo! You don't have to do any of that. And so it's not a big stretch to unlearn being a short order copywriter to be able to adapt a new and better way of doing it. So mistake number 3, being a short order copywriter, don't do that. And it just labels you also as a beginner and someone that doesn't really bring the full value to your clients, right? All right, moving right along to number 4, thinking you can do it all by yourself. If I could have put a cricket chirping here, crickets chirping. Nope. Okay. The silence is deafening. And that's why I use the little tent all by itself out in the big old forest, all alone, cue the music, all by myself, because you really can't do it all by yourself. So now we may work all by ourselves. We may be solopreneurs in the sense that, we're in the mobile office, we're in our home office, we're wherever we choose to work from, and we don't need a giant crew of people. For one, I'm not a shared workspace kind of person. I like it. I need to have my own space and quiet and the way I want to work. And maybe you like that too, or maybe you want that shared space. But whatever it may be, when it comes to learning the strategy and learning how to write the copy, you really can't do it all by yourself. I've had people say, well, I'm going to do it like you did, Tina. I'm going to do it all by myself. And like, I'm just going to watch all the YouTube videos, or I'm going to watch all the other live videos. I'm going to get all the books and I'm going to do it all by myself. Well, I say, good luck with that, because I didn't do it all by myself. I may have been working alone and I may have begun the process on my own, but I quickly understood that I needed to be able to network. I needed to have mentors. I needed to have people teaching other aspects of the marketing. I needed to absorb other additional information. And so if you want to be a freelance copywriter or doing any kind of freelancing with your writing, you need to understand that it's an ongoing process and that you should be a lifelong learner. That, those that say, well, I already know that, I already know that. I have invested heavily in programs that were in the six figures to be in masterminds. And I'm in a $155,000 mastermind right now, right? For one year for 155. And the thing is, I may know a lot about what I do, but there's always something more. There's always a nuance or one of those gold nuggets, a gem that you say, wow, what if I infuse that into what I'm doing? How much more value can I bring to my clients? How much more clarity can I bring to those I serve? How much more can I support the people that I teach and mentor? And so it's an ongoing process, because there's aspects of copywriting that are very timeless, and that some of the core value, the core messaging of it can still be used today from decades ago. But then there's just these little nuances of what's changing in the world around us, what's changing in the technology, what's made it easier for people to do certain things like segmentation of an audience, or how you might survey people to find out what it is that they need to learn about, that they're looking to learn. So you can't do it alone. One of my mentors has often said, that one of their mentors basically said, find the person that's doing the thing you want to do and is doing it successfully. And I would add, with some length of time doing it as well, not just, last week I was, flipping burgers, and this week I'm your A+ copywriter that can teach you everything you know about online marketing, right? It takes time to build the chops, so to speak. I have a son-in-law that's a trumpet player, and so they talk about the chops of being able to play and have the endurance to play and play with the tones that they need and all of those things. And that comes from time and training and developing the muscle for it, right? Same with copywriting and marketing. You need to work with people that have developed the muscle. So you're looking for that mentor or teacher who's already doing the thing you desire to do and has shown that they're doing it successfully for a good period of time. Invest in working with that person and learning from that person, and do everything they tell you to do. And sometimes it's counterintuitive. Sometimes the things they tell you to do are like, what? What do you mean don't be a short order copywriter? What do you mean wait till I get to mistake number 5? You may say then, like, what? I'll tell you what it is in just a second. But the point is, if you already knew to do it intuitively, you'd already be doing it. You wouldn't have that issue because you'd already be doing it. So if you have a mentor that's proven their success, a teacher someone that can guide you, a coach, and then my recommendation is watch how they do it, and you do it too. As far as modeling, still being you, still being authentically you. I'm not talking about plagiarizing or taking their content or anything like that, but just some of the strategies, the tactics, the mindset, the tools that they might use, the way they approach writing copy, all of those things. This is how you get good. Now, I'm not talking about you've got to get A-level, top of the line good, right? You don't have to, it's great to be exceptional, but you can start by being good enough, because there's so many marketers that need good copy, good solid copy where you understand the strategy, you understand the foundation. And if you have your own business, if you're a coach, an entrepreneur, or you're doing challenges and you're like, how do I write this copy? You need to understand that. Unless you have that unlimited budget to outsource everything, you may need to be doing some of these things yourself right from the beginning if you have your own program or product. And that still usually entails some kind of a mentor or a guide or a coach. So investing in yourself, valuing yourself enough to invest in yourself, and believing in yourself enough to invest in yourself. because part of the aspect of success with all of this is that you also need to work with people that help you make the shift in your thinking. Because if you don't identify yourself as that person you are becoming with the skills that you are growing into, if you don't really see yourself that way, if you don't identify and connect to that part of you, it will derail your business. It will derail your success, because the part of you that's not changing in how you think about what you can do isn't believing that you can do it. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, because I've seen it time and time again that if you don't make the mental shift, it's like there's an energy of uncertainty that comes through in your communication if you don't make that shift. And when you have that uncertainty, it grows uncertainty in your prospective client. They sense it. Just like we talk about, a dog can sense fear, and don't have eye contact. Well, I do recommend you have eye contact with your potential clients, but you know what I mean? It's like a dog can smell or feel the fear. A horse can tell if you're fearful and tense. And there's just, we're made up of energy, electrical neurons, all of the synapses, all of the things that are firing all the time, and that we give off the vibe. We can give off the vibe of confidence or uncertainty. And so that shift of believing. And so it could be, let's just say, for example, you want to learn how to be a better copywriter, how to write more effective marketing copy, but your brain hasn't quite caught up with the desire you have of what you want to achieve. Then you need to be able to work with someone who also has that built into their training and their mentoring and their coaching. I've seen so many copywriting programs. You know what? It seems like everybody and their Uncle Bob wants to have a copywriting program right now. And a whole bunch of them are like, 2 years ago when I started copywriting, and they go on with the rest of the story. And they just don't have that really in the trenches, long-term experience, the ups and downs of the world around us, of what's happening, of the challenges that are happening on the outer world, so we speak. And so there's a lot of them. Okay. But that doesn't mean they understand how to achieve that shift in mindset, how they understand a shift in what I believe is your ultimate business partner, a divine connection. If you're feeling called to do something, that you can even talk about that, right? So number 4, thinking you can do it all by yourself is one of the biggest mistakes you could make, because even though, especially if you're starting a copywriting business, it's really overall an economical way to begin a business with a computer and a cell phone, internet connection. But that doesn't mean you're not going to continue to invest in yourself in some way. And so I did that right from year 1, right? When I went to the Gary Ben-Sabenga event in New York City, that was $5,000 for 2 days. And I was just getting started and didn't have the money, right? And so I had to make a shift in my own thinking, a shift in my mindset, and I had to level up. And I raised my fees, and I set my agenda for myself as me being my client, that I was going to be at this very important business event. And from that event alone, I went into 6 figures just from the networking and the connections I made at that event. And so, see, there's kind of a growth effect that happens with this, a multiplier aspect. I'm not, a mathematician, but it continues to compound what you invest in yourself and how you shift your thinking and the actions you take as being your first client. All of these things are compounding into higher levels of value and return for you. And you need to be able to think that bigger picture about how you're starting this in the first place. So I hope I hope the brain cells are going, ooh, right now, because it's more than just thinking that, well, I'll just read a few books. You probably read, 2 or 3 books, watch a few videos, start to get started. And then what? Well, what do I do when the client says this? And what do I do when it's this kind of strategy? And how does it all fit together? And I'm having trouble thinking that all by myself. It's been said that the worst number in any business, you know what it is? It's a really easy number. 1. The worst number in any business is 1. One way to get clients, one client, one way that you learn the skill, one time that you invest in yourself, one way that you're going to be able to network with people. So the more you can start with 1, absolutely. But the more you can add on to that and multiply the force of that and gain the momentum of that, the better off you'll be. And I have some free resources about all of this as well that you'll be able to find here. So thinking you can do it all by yourself, that's number 4. So let's go on to number 5, because this is where the mindset shift might have to happen for some of you. Not getting paid in advance. Now, right now I am talking about if you have a copywriting program, that's something different. If you have a coaching program, but if you are writing for clients, you want that money flying into your account before you start writing. Now, I've had so many people say, are you kidding me? Nobody's going to do that. How do you get paid in advance? Well, it's what I've been doing for since I started in 2004. And the reason why is because if you're writing copy for clients, our product, so to speak, are the words, the strategy and the words that we provide to the client. I am not kidding you, I have been to marketing events where there were other what was viewed by many as A-list type copywriters who sat around a table with me and said, how do you do that? How do you get paid in advance? And there was one particular copywriter at the time who shall remain unidentified and save their dignity, but they literally were invoicing clients, not getting paid. They knew one of their clients went to McDonald's every day for coffee in the morning because they happened to live in the same area. And that particular copywriter plunked themselves down to McDonald's so that they could pounce out of the shadows for that client who had not paid them for the copy that they had written and delivered to them. And they were going to basically waylay them at a McDonald's somewhere here in the United States and see if they could get paid. It's just like, whoo, don't do that. Okay. So when you get paid in advance, this is also building that perimeter of power around your business. You do it with certainty because, hey, you're not going to go to somebody's door and like, hey, we're here to repossess those words we sent you that you haven't paid for yet. We're here to haul them away. That's not happening. Okay. And so you get paid in advance to be able to deliver the goods to the client. Now you do have to get good. You have to get good. You have to get good enough. And you need to always honor that commitment. You always honor the commitment. You honor the deadline. Remember that first client is you, and you're going to honor all the commitments that you make. And so you have a plan for how you deliver the copy that they then can start working with it to put it into place with their designers, their website people, their funnel builders, and you are paid for the work you're doing because the work starts before you ever write anything on a keyboard. The work has begun right here. This is what I call subconscious copywriting because you'll be thinking about the client's you should be thinking about the client's project, about what they have. You're going to be doing research. You may be doing some interviewing. There's going to be other things you're doing to get ready to write. Now, when I talk about getting ready and get ready too long, that's a whole different deal. This is part of the process of creating the copy that you should be doing as you're preparing to put your fingers to one of these, whoop, yep, and start doing the writing. And so it begins before you ever write a word. And this is your fee is also for your mental work, your brain work, your research, your time, your process of thinking. They're taking up space in your life, in your head, in your schedule. And that's great when they've paid for it, right? So you get paid in advance and the work begins. And you literally can say, when they say, okay, so what's the next step? You can literally say, payment of my fee is what puts you on my schedule and begins the process. So as soon as we have that in place, we're on, right? And you can schedule people ahead that pay in advance to hold a place in line for your services. I have a copywriter that I trained, Alice, who told me the other day, she said, I've got people lining up. And she was doing some mindset work that she learned from me and said, it's so effective. What's happening here is that even as I'm working on this project, I have other people waiting in line. And so she now understands how this is also how you create that financial flow for yourself, is that you have the fees in place, you have people scheduled out, they wait quietly in line for their turn, and then you write the copy for them. So again, I'm just going to say this so powerfully. You always honor your commitments. You deliver the copy on time. You do exactly what you have agreed to in that dynamic with your client, and you deliver the goods, and you spend the time getting good so that you're always able to give really good copy to your clients so that they can build their business and so that they can expand their reach and their impact as well. So not getting paid in advance, that's mistake number 5. So I hope these were helpful to you today. And I'm going to take a look over here and see what's cooking over here in the comments land. And Patty's saying Gary Bensabenga, John Carlton, Gary Halbert. There are some of my go-tos, Frank Kearns. And yeah, I wrote Mass Control, the last evergreen version of Mass Control for Frank Kern, for example. Number 5, can't wait to get paid in advance. All right, Patricia, that's exactly right. Getting paid in advance is huge. I've never had anyone say no, neither have I. This is why the mindset aspect of this is so important, because if you're going, well, okay, the fee's $5,000 and I get paid in advance, if that's how it comes across, instead of Yes. Oh, I'm so excited to work with you. So here's how it works. Payment of fees, what books your time. So I'm going to send you all the information, exactly how you do that. We're going to take care of that first. As soon as that's in place, we are on. See, there's a whole difference in energy that you have to believe in yourself first. You have to have that certainty first. And when you do, just like the comment from JAC, Jack said, I've never had anyone say no. And I said it felt uncomfortable at first. I said it with confidence, exactly. And so, and that you can kind of practice that ahead of time. This is my fee. This is how it works. And do this. I'm not kidding. You can stand in front of a mirror and say it to yourself, but look right into your own eyes when you do, and really meet your soul and your spirit, and with confidence and certainty, and so that you can do the same thing when you're speaking with your clients. There's no gaps. There's no further explanation. There's no doubling back, like almost asking permission. All of that. And Dr. Marlene says, not doing it alone made me go and check for copywriting conferences. Found one in London the day she's going back. Oh, back temporarily. Well, I hope it's only temporary, because we know we love having you here in the US with us, because we just love you. And Kristen says a good place to start is with my cash flow copywriting challenge. And that is very true. And so all of these things, I love seeing the interaction here. Thank you so much for being here. Because here's the deal, wherever you're viewing from right now, smack that subscribe, smash the like, share, comment if you're on a replay, follow if that's appropriate for where you're watching from, and check in with me, because I love being able to do these lives for you. I want to be able to impact as many lives as possible, because copywriting was such a blessing in my life, completely changed my life and the life of my family. And now I just really, my chilometer's going off right now. I call it my chilometer when I just get chills all over, because I love being able to impact your life as well, so that you can have the life that you desire and that lifestyle freedom you desire, and be able to know that you really have the security, because there's a tremendous amount of security in learning a skill like freelance copywriting, because everybody needs one, kind of a thing. Anybody in business, they're going to need some kind of copy written for something. And so you can start with one specialty and move in from there. Now, I invite you to join me most Tuesdays. I'm going to say most Tuesdays, 11 o'clock Eastern, 11 a.m. Eastern, because I do travel a lot. And there things happen once in a while. We're going to have a family vacation in August, that type of thing. But I'm going to try and do my live even from there. Even as I say the word try, I'm going to erase that and say, I intend to do that. That's one of those. We'll talk about the power of words on another video, because these are the words we say to ourselves when we're hearing ourselves say them. And that gives us kind of that exit clause, like, well, I tried. No, that, again, whole other topic for another day. I intend to do these lives most Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. So I hope that you'll join me. And if not on the replay, that's great to see you there too. And your comments are appreciated there as well. And just briefly, if by any chance you'd like to learn more about copywriting, I do have a cash flow copywriting challenge at cashflowcopywritingchallenge.com, where you spend 5 days being able to be on Q&As with me, and I'll answer your questions about all of these issues that we're discussing. And I do these once a month, so you can check that out if you'd like to learn more about that and what it's like to learn from me. So thanks again for being here. It's really fun to plan these out and do these every week and think, what can I share with you that will help you today? So I hope there's something here. Please drop it in the comments if there's something that has particularly impacted you today that would help you move forward with your desire to be a freelancer in a way that gets paid very well. And in my particular instance, in my world, that's called freelance copywriting, where you be able to turn words into wealth, turn words into money for yourself and for your clients. Thanks again for being here today. Until next time, I'll see you again soon. This is Tina Lorenz, and have an awesome day.